Welcome, everyone. Please be seated to this most glorious day in this absolutely beautiful setting. We're here to celebrate Stephanie and Brandon, to witness the public declaration of their commitment to one another. The two of you are surrounded today by the people who love you the most, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say we are so grateful and so happy to be here. Stephanie and Brandon wanted to take a moment this evening to remember our dearest loved ones who are no longer with us on this earth, but they live on in our hearts forever, and thus they join us on this joyful day. I was asked to participate in this ceremony back on January 5th, and I remember that date because Stephanie and Brandon were snowed in at our house in Maine. They were supposed to stay with us for a couple of days, and it ended up being almost a week, right? And let me tell you something. You learn a lot about a couple when you're cooped up with them in a blizzard with temperatures hovering around 10 below zero. Here's what I learned. First, that jumping and thumping and heavy breathing you might hear coming from the upstairs bedroom in the middle of the afternoon is actually an energetic form of yoga. Thank God. Wow. Second, when they come to visit, and I'm not making any of this up, make sure you have an ample supply of kale, mint, goat cheese, phyllo dough, Earl Grey decaf tea, space heaters, and a case of Johnny Walker Double Black. Brandon, you are such a perfect fit for this family. While these two will engage in small talk, it's the big questions that they're most interested in, and they're not afraid to ask. Trust me on that. Oscar Wilde said that ultimately, the bond of all companionship, whether in marriage or in friendship, is conversation. And I quickly noticed that for Stephanie and Brandon, the conversation never seems to end. There's no drama. They don't make any room for it. There's no artifice, no games, no secrets. They really, really know one another and nurture one another. And they love fully and deeply, as only two people who have shared all the good and all the not so good can. As the poet Dana Joyous so elegantly says about deep and abiding love, your partner becomes a language that you have learned by heart. Brandon and Stephanie are fluent in each other's language. They get the biggest kick out of each other. They laugh a lot, we all know that. And they joyfully celebrate each other's accomplishments. To me, one of the grace notes of their relationship is that it began with friendship and then blossomed into love. They developed mutual respect and trust first. There's no more steadfast foundation for a happy marriage. But for Steph and Brandon, this commitment goes above and beyond most definitions of marriage. That should surprise none of us. They are creating a life partnership with a detailed plan. In fact, they have a whiteboard hanging in their home in California entitled Our Marriage. It lists their life goals, their values and commitments, even their financial objectives. Here's just a sampling of what they've written. Integrity, humor, compassion, growth, joy, art, surprise, play, global impact. And there's one sentence that succinctly sums up this union. They say, we stand for each other's greatness. I say this with all sincerity. Spending time last winter with Stephanie and Brandon was like attending a master class in how to create a happy, healthy, soulful, purposeful relationship. So I can assure you that the commitment that you are about to witness today is one to be celebrated with full and joyful hearts. Brandon and Stephanie are crafting a marriage that embraces the full spectrum of life, the darkness as well as the light. Yeah, but Terry is coming up to do it.
This is a quote from George Bernard Shaw. This is the true joy in life. The being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. Being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will devote itself to making you happy. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the whole community, and as long as I live it, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. For the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle. For me, it's a sort of splendid torch, which I have got hold for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it to future generations.
And now Jeffrey will join us.
Nowhere to stand. The invitation. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you've been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with that pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it, or fade it, or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, be realistic, remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty, even when it is not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get caught up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself, and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments.
I thought it might be nice to take a moment and ask you both to turn around and to look at all of the people gathered here today. Your parents, your siblings, your aunts and uncles and cousins, your dearest friends, each and every one here to support you not just on your wedding day, but for every day of your married life. Our commitment to you is to celebrate the joy you will experience in your life together and to offer you strength and encouragement to cope with life's inevitable sorrow. Always know that as you begin your married life, you are not and you never will be alone. Turn back. As Brandon recently wrote, marriage is a choice, grounded in faith and mystery. Today, you are making that choice. Marriage is a voluntary and full commitment, entered into with the desire and the hope that it will last forever. Stephanie, do you come here freely and without reservation to pledge your love and commitment to Brandon in marriage?
I do.
Brandon, do you come here freely and without reservation to pledge your love and commitment to Stephanie in marriage?
I do.
Your vows are an integral part of the blueprint of your marriage, defining your vision for your life together. The words will be spoken in a matter of minutes, but those promises, they will be etched in your heart.
Brandon, let's see if I can make it through this. Okay, I'll never forget. Okay. I'll never forget that night at the karaoke bar in Mariposa in March 2015. The day before we would both admit our feelings for each other. We were looking up songs to sing, and when I mentioned my love of Guns N' Roses, you exclaimed, "How has no one married you yet?" I knew then, deep inside, that you were the one. It took my mind longer to catch up to my whispering heart, to believe you were everything I was looking for, because that scared me. You loved all of me, who I am, but also who I am to become. With you, I couldn't run away from myself. Why I want to be married to you and no one else. Your unconditional love and vulnerability, your passion for all humans, and most especially me. Your appreciation of art, whether a poem or a well-crafted knife. Your unshakable integrity and pursuit of being the best man you can be. Your commitment to leaving this world a better place than when you found it. Your perfect ability to move from serious talk about politics to wearing women's clothes and singing karaoke without abandon. The simple fact that you can reach the things I can't in the top cupboards. And finally, when the apocalypse comes, knowing I'll be safe with a man who carries around a man purse with a survival kit in it. My eternal promise to you is to love you exactly as you are and exactly as you are not. Always standing for us to grow together beyond our wildest dreams, but without attachment to what that looks like. I vow to always be doing my work, exploring my shadows so that I can shine brighter with you. I vow to unconditionally support your mission to turn the world on to purpose. I vow to stand for our greatness and our bigger commitment as leaders. I vow to always be up for adventures with you, especially the scary ones. I vow to walk around naked as much as possible, even if I'm dragging my boobs on the floor at 80. I vow to love you, especially on the days I may not want to and may need to give up being right. I vow to never try to fix you, but to accept you, chacos and all. And I vow to never give up on myself, you, or us. And my final vow is to read this to you every year on our anniversary. My love, my king, my best friend, happily and gratefully, with eyes wide open, I choose you.
Stephanie, I promise to heed your intuition, trust your leadership, and prepare for an adventure. I promise to look at our future with wide open eyes. I promise to love you through our breakdowns, to hold you tenderly as we meet each new challenge. I promise to ask for what I want and look for the yes in your requests. I promise to fight fair. I promise to trust in the divine support of the universe, venture boldly, and embrace our prosperity. I promise to stand for your greatness and challenge you to continually realize it. I promise to keep doing my work, that I step into my greatness and show up newly for you. I promise to embrace our marriage as my life, to raise the foundation of my identity, and to step into the unknown with you. I promise to bring silliness, trickery, and devilish lust into our home. I promise you my love and loyalty. As long as I live, I serve you, my queen.
It's beautiful. Moving of the rings, please. Each to each.
Onto this one, or the other way around?
A ring has no beginning and no end. It is a visible symbol of the beautiful vows you have just made, reminding you always that marriage is not a destination, but a never-ending journey. Brandon, as you place the ring on Stephanie's finger, oh, you did already, or you did? Know always that it is an outward symbol of that inward, never-ending journey. And Stephanie, as you place the ring on Brandon's finger, know always that it is the outward symbol of that inward, never-ending journey. One of my favorite quotes about marriage is from an impeccable source, the movie When Harry Met Sally. When you meet the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you want the rest of your life to begin as soon as possible. The rest of your life together has now begun. May you both be blessed with joy and purpose. Cherish each other. A good marriage is an incredible gift. The Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said that to love someone deeply gives you strength. Being loved by someone deeply gives you courage. I see the blessing of that strength and courage in both of you. Let it guide you and keep you as you venture forward today. And now, by the power vested in me by the state of Connecticut, it's my honor and my privilege and my joy to declare you wife and husband. Time to seal the deal.
Family and friends, say hello to Stephanie and Brandon, the married version.